Today we're part of the festival, and right now I'm next to Karen Ranzi. I practiced 5 minutes before I had to say that. Hard practice. Actually, I know her last name too. Her previous name was Horowitz. We also found out that a guy here was from Russia. His parents were from Russia. My parents were from Russia. And we're all related. Same town. Not true. Anyway, Karen wrote a book called Healthy Children. I didn't read it, but I just kind of glimmered through it. I said, wow, I got to read this book. It's one of my goals to read your book, believe it or not. One of my top goals is to read your book. And she's actually a mostly vegetarian? No. Why don't you tell us why you wrote the book and a little bit about it?
Okay.
Keep my mouth shut.
Well, the book is called Creating Healthy Children Through Attachment, Parenting, and Raw Foods.
Wow.
And I felt that it was very important for people to have the information of how to raise a physically healthy child through the raw food nourishment, majority fruits and vegetables and green leaves, and smaller amounts of nuts and seeds, except when they're having their growth spurts, which children will know if you let them listen to their own bodies.
And they eat fat if they have their growth spurts?
Sometimes when they're having growth spurts, they will need more fat.
How about a young man like myself eats a lot of fat? What does that mean? I have a craving for fat.
Okay, well that could very often be too much fat. Yeah,
that's why I'm so fat.
Yeah, because even plant fat can be too much fat, and I did that for many years, believe me. So we definitely don't want to do too much.
Okay, so you wrote a book and
so then the other piece of it is the attachment parenting focus, and there were many people who thought that I should just keep the book to food, but you cannot have a healthy child and just focus on healthy raw food, which is important, but the emotional, mental, and spiritual piece is important as well, and that's why I also focus in the book on what's called attachment parenting, and that includes the breastfeeding, skin-to-skin contact, sleeping with baby, which is called co-sleeping, which many parents are fearful of because they think their child will be sleeping with them for the rest of their lives. And believe me, your child's not going to be 25 sleeping in bed with you. You will probably be sad when your child says, you know, please, I don't want to sleep with you anymore. But at the beginning, the earlier years especially, the child needs the parents to follow the child's needs, not what the parents need.
In other words, you recommend for a child to sleep with the parents up until they don't want to.
Exactly. And nursing, exactly, the same thing.
Is that right?
Breastfeeding should be child-led weaning.
Wow.
Okay? And I recommend that women focus on breastfeeding for a minimum of 2 years.
Okay.
More if possible.
About 5 years.
That's great.
Wow.
Do it as much as the child wants to. Do it as much as the child wants to, because you will be benefiting the child's physical body and emotional and mental well-being and spiritual well-being as well. So the child will have a high self-esteem if the child has your presence.
Right, well, I agree with that.
So I think it's really, really important. And all those factors come together and just create a healthy lifestyle.
What do you consider healthy food for a child?
Well, it depends really on the age.
Breakfast, lunch, or young kid. I get that question asked a lot. Yeah, young from 0 to 4, something like that.
Right. Well, I think that you can create some fun recipes, but they need to be very simple recipes with no more than 2 or 3 ingredients.
Okay. So for 0 to 4, no more than 2 or 3 ingredients.
Right. And even when they get older, why do they need to eat so many ingredients? It confuses the whole digestive system.
It does. It does.
So, even for adults, I try, even if I'm having a salad, not to have more than 3 or 4 ingredients in my salad. So, I have a lot of very simple recipes in my book, Creating Healthy Children, that are it's called kid-tested recipes, and recipes that kids can make themselves with fruits and vegetables. And some of them with smaller amounts of nuts and seeds. And they're easy, and kids should be very playful with it, and they should have lots of food decorating materials, design equipment and things like that to make it fun.
Okay. I'm teaching at a camp next week.
Oh, are you? That's great.
Camp Peace.
That's great.
I'm going to look at your book.
Okay.
And actually, we're going to make a movie starting next week. We're going to do 4 videos 4 different weeks, and we'll mention your book.
Oh, great, great. My website is www.superhealthychildren.com.
Right.
And I'm also doing a class on Sunday, September 12th in New Jersey called Raw Food Fun for Kids, where I support children and their parents in raw food preparation and just enjoying the whole process. I actually had a family of 5 come last year, and the mother called me up and she was very upset that her children weren't eating any fruits and vegetables at all, that the father didn't eat any, and that they were eating a lot of highly refined and processed foods, and she really wanted them to eat some fresh foods. And she figured that she would come anyway, even though she didn't foresee any benefit. And they came and they prepared foods together with us, and for a while they didn't eat anything, but after about 45 minutes, because the other children were eating it.
That's a good idea. That's what I do.
Yeah, and that's why I do this class, because it gives peer support. And these children were already a little older and wanted peer support, which they don't have in our society. Well, I let them play with knives. I think as long as we're there and we can trust that it's okay, as long as the parents are there. Yeah. So, but these children started eating everything, and then they went home, and the mother called me the week after and said that her children were eating plenty of fruits and vegetables now. And so we just have to really get them in the environment where they have support to do it. And so that's great what you're doing too.
I'm glad. I'm going to read your book this week.
Thank you.
I'll give you a hug.